Cool, we were recording. Yeah, Chris, we were just talking about Unichain. Yeah, one thing he was saying was that people shouldn't have to go straight to ETH mainnet, because even if they have to bridge off or do a swap, they're paying a lot in gas. It could really stall mainstream adoption. So by them building Unichain on OP, people go straight to the L2. They still get the settlement and the security of the L1. So I think that's really good.
That's
and
good,
I think
yeah.
for like liquidity providers, it's going to allow liquidity to go where it's needed most. And there'll probably be some kind of box or boxes you can check saying, oh, use my liquidity on these chains. And yeah, I'm excited to see how things are going to play out. And what is it built on Unichain as well? Like, will other DEXs start building on there, or I really don't know what's going to happen.
I don't know how. I mean, I guess competition's healthy, but I mean, Uniswap's already got like the leg up on that one.
Yeah, it might be one of those you can't beat them, join them kind of things. We'll see.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it needs to be, man. Otherwise, liquidity will just stay fragmented. You know, I mean, we need too many silos out there working on the same shit. It's like, but that ego, man. People got egos.
Yeah, everybody wants to be the top dog.
Yeah, I guess that's what creates
capitalism.
Yeah, new opportunities.
Yeah,
breeds competition.
Yeah.
Well, first they copy what's out there, and then they put a little tweak on it, and then they throw that out there.
Yeah, the smallest tweak that you can possibly make.
That's right. Yeah,
how's your pools doing, man?
They're doing pretty good. Last week was really solid. Let me see. Over my largest portfolio, which has grown, it's up to about 79K right now for that one portfolio. All of
79K.
Yeah.
Nice, dude.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah, we're growing. We're selling about 15 to 20 NFTs per week at 0.1 ETH. And then we're
selling NFTs.
What's that?
You like NFT trading, or what do you mean by that?
No, we our program basically people purchase NFTs and then we airdrop the farming rewards to them on a weekly basis.
Ah, okay. I'm like, man, that's totally different from what you were doing. That sounds pretty risky. Okay.
No, I am not trading NFTs.
I was like, man, you just said fuck it all.
No, that funny. It tells me is just I was watching TV. My son and I like to watch like the car restoration shows, you know, like Rust Valley and all those type of things. And there was one where they came up and the guy's like, all right, we got this flip. We're gonna do this out, and you know, we really need to make this sale. And this kid shows up. He's like 25, and the guy's like, okay, well, it's gonna be like 57K to, you know, fix up this Chevy for you. And he's like, I've got some really expensive NFTs. I'm gonna give you one. And the car shop's like, no, we need cash money.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Yeah, but no, last week across everything, we got daily average of 0.5%, and our impermanent gain went up by about 5%. So across everything, so nice. Pretty solid.
Nice, nice.
All right, we got Mark coming in here.
I've become a Gwai watcher.
Gwai watcher.
I've never heard it pronounced Gwai. I always hear Gwai, but Gwai sounds a lot cooler.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard it actually ever been said before, other than just that coming out of my mouth at the moment. So that's my guess. That's my guess on how I would say it. So.
Yeah, tomato.
It's like German. Say the last vowel, not the first vowel. Right? That's a word.
I didn't know that was I don't know German etiquette other than vodka. No, that's Russian. So
that's Russian.
That tells you right there.
No. So Stein, Stein. Yep, I'm right. So this is the second vowel. Yep.
Interesting.
So
Mark, how you doing, boss? Mike's muted. In case you were I was doing some. I remember. Oh, we got David coming in here.
Yeah, did you get a chance to look at the OETH B or Super OETH?
I have not, man. It's SF Tech Week, so I've been at events here trying to like get some alpha for us. I should be done by this weekend. Is the ETH SF Global Hackathon? It's the biggest hackathon in the world. So hopefully I'm able to. I've been meeting some interesting people, working on some interesting stuff. But yeah, that's why I haven't been making as many YouTube videos this past week because I've been out networking.
Well, that's important too.
Yeah, definitely important. So no, I think I'll be able to look into that tomorrow. I should be able to look into it tomorrow because I'm not going to an event tomorrow. I have another Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday is the actual hackathon.
Okay. Yeah, I've still been doing research on it. I mean, it sounds pretty cool, but it does sound a bit.
What is it like? What's the high level?
Well, basically, it's the Orion protocol team, I think. And so they came up with a way to have ETH be paired with ETH. And they claim to have the closest peg to actual ETH out of every alternative in the market. If you wrap the ETH, the wrapper actually allows you to gain like 12 to 13% APY for just holding it in your wallet. You know, so it was interesting. It was complicated, but it was interesting. So.
And you said you saw it on VFAT?
Right. Well, yeah, VFAT was, I was just scanning through all the pools on Aerodrome using VFAT just to see what was out there, what new stuff. And that was still the number one pool up there with over $390 million in it.
Huh. Interesting.
So, and it's a OETH B pool, heavily incentivized at the moment. I don't know. Check it out. I didn't know why, like, because all the other pools, you know, are like 50 million, you know, 2 million, 1 million, like 500K, and then you see this one with like 390 million. You're like, whoa, what's going on here? This is a new thing. So.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Mark, David, how you guys doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just happy to be here.
Mark, I can barely hear you. It's almost like you're super far back.
Yeah, I can't hear him either.
How's everyone today? Okay.
Still can't really hear you.
How about now?
That's perfect.
My mic was connected to my Bluetooth speaker in the kitchen, which is
that makes sense.
It's not even in this room.
I'm surprised it still picked it up.
I was quite amazed actually. Yeah. It is a Bose though, so it's quite good quality.
Yeah, I'm surprised it even picked it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. Good, thanks.
Cool, man. So
I'm just sitting pretty. I'm not really doing much crypto at the moment. Well, I am watching it, but I don't need to do anything. Just planning how I'm going to be getting out.
Okay. Oh yeah. So I actually have some stuff to talk about that because I remember we wanted to go
over exit strategy and that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And that strategy in the middle of when there's higher volumes and stuff, and I'm just trying to formulate a plan for that. All the moves I can make right now are quite small, you know, emotional based ones. They're not going to be decent moves. So I'm just sitting pretty. But I have to admit, my best plays at the moment are meme coins. And I honestly, at the beginning of a few months ago, if you said I'd have meme coins, I would definitely have looked down on people.
Man,
and now I'm one of them.
Did anyone get an SPX6900 or whatever?
I've been watching it, man. Nope, I didn't write any of that.
Yeah, you guys don't watch the videos I put out. The last 2 weekly updates, no one watches them.
I had Toshi already. I watched the Toshi one. Did you mention Toshi?
I'm in enough meme coins.
Dude,
same.
A lot of people think SPX is going to be like the top one of this cycle. Obviously, there's no way to know, but the community is. What's that?
Is that you can have a race with Turbo, which is the one that I'm in. I haven't got Turbo, very low.
Dude, I finally got into Solana, and I've been like putting $100 here, $100 there, just giving money away. That's how I feel. Whoever was screaming is how I was feeling.
I got a wallet address you can put $100 in.
Hey, it would have been better off if I would have did that. But no, you guys should really. I'm up like 3x on SPX. I already took out my principal, so I'm just gonna let it ride and see what happens. But it really has that, like the whole narrative behind it is trying to flip the S&P. Obviously, they're not gonna do it, but it's kind of like the same vibes of like the Wall Street bets kind of thing. And I've noticed that not even when it comes to meme coins or narratives, a good book that I recommend everyone read is Narrative Economics, and it talks about like what philosophies and things has the highest likelihood of like going viral and things like that. And it's always that big brother, the underdog kind of vibe. Like this, the same narrative that Apple attached themselves to when they made that famous ad in 1984. And we look at Wall Street bets and GameStop. This has that same kind of philosophy behind it. And it's a very cult-like following. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna share the video in the school, but it's this guy named Murad who gave a speech at the Token 2049 conference, and he's like a meme coin expert, which is crazy. You can even be that, but I
don't trust him. I don't trust him one bit.
You've seen some of his stuff?
I just don't. Yeah, he does not look trustworthy. Just his vibe.
He just comes off as a nerdy guy who's socially awkward to me. But
look at it. Yeah, look what happened to. I know they're different, but Friedman was that cute nerdy guy, and look what he did to everyone. He's a massive criminal.
That's different. I had a different feeling from him. I never used that exchange, and I had exchanges on all the major exchanges, but for some reason, I never used FTX. I never put a single cent on there, and I never knew why. But
okay,
yeah. And you know, this isn't his project either. You know what I mean? But what was I saying?
It was about SPX and how he did a little speech on Murad did.
Yeah. A lot of people out here in SF have been talking about it too. And I think it's worth looking into. I'm obviously not financial advice, but I definitely think it's worth looking into. So
isn't it too late now?
No, man. I've said, I've sold a good amount of my crypto just to have a lot of cash on the sidelines because, you know, we're about to go into the election, and you know we had the yield curve. What is it? Uninvert or invert, whichever one that means not good. That is like the top indicator for predicting a recession. Are you guys familiar with how that whole thing works?
When the yield curve uninverts? I mean,
yeah. So basically what it is so like, let's say I want to loan you some money, Chris, and let's say I want to loan you $100 2 times. The one term you have to pay me back in 10 years, and the other term you have to pay me back in 2 years. Which one do you think I'm gonna want to charge a higher interest rate on?
Probably the one that you got to pay on longer.
Exactly. So that's the same. So when the yield curve inverts, that means that the 2-year yield is paying out more than the 10-year yield. The 10-year yield is supposed to pay more than the 2-year yield. And that's happening because people are having distrust. So they're selling these long-term bonds and they're buying the 2-year bonds, which is making the yields go up. And that's been the most reliable indicator of predicting a recession. And we're having that happen again. But another thing that's happening is I'm gonna drop another video that I was watching today. It's this guy named, I forget, his name's Jeff something. He was on the Milkman podcast. He runs the most successful hedge fund in terms of performance back in 2023. He got in bunk early. He bought the bottom of Solana, and he put out this in-depth report on China on Substack. You guys can read it for free. And basically, China's fucked right now. All of their, like, they're having manufacturing plants going bankrupt. GDP's going down, like everything's going down, and they're doing the most aggressive QE that they've done since 2024. And it's so crazy that people in China, and we all know China loves Bitcoin because, you know, their government is just like a strict parent. They have the biggest backlog of people signing up for brokerage accounts because they know that they're about to print a lot of money, and a lot of that money is going to find its way into crypto. So, and then in addition to that, all of the central banks around the world are cutting rates. So it's like it's a weird situation where we have like this recession indicator that's predicting a recession, but we also have China and countries around the world cutting rates, and we have elections. So it's really hard to know what's going to happen. But I think that, you know, I would say December, I'm extremely bullish, but a lot of people sell assets in December to like write off on taxes. So if I had to guess, I think January, February, things are really going to start getting crazy. And in terms of exit strategy for me, you know, I have my price targets on like certain altcoins and things like that. But like the main thing that I'm looking at, John, you can probably agree, I think you said on the last call, is I'm going to really be tracking what Bitcoin's doing and having like a take profit strategy within my take profit strategy that says, hey, once Bitcoin gets to these certain levels, I'm going to be selling off X percentage of my portfolio because everything still follows Bitcoin. And for me, I think that we'll definitely see 100K next year. I could be wrong. If Bitcoin gets over 200K, which I honestly don't think it will, I think we'll probably top out at around 150. But if it gets to 200K, I'm going to sell like 90% of everything. If it gets to 150K, I'm going to sell off half of everything. And anywhere before that, I'm going to have more reliance on the take profit strategies that I have set between my different altcoins. I think we'll see a 7,000 to 15K ETH. And if ETH goes to 15K, I'm also going to sell 90% of everything that I have. And then here, let me just share my screen really quick. So you guys have all, I'm sure you guys have all heard of the guy Plan B and the whole stock to flow model that he's been shilling for like the past, I don't know, however many years.
His £1 million Bitcoin by 2020, was it in 5 years or something?
Something like that. Basically, it seems like all of those things are being invalidated, and I don't believe in that in regards to his time frame. Willy Woo, his predictions were super wrong last cycle too, and a lot of people point to the Bitcoin logarithmic chart. So Bitcoin has been in this channel pretty much since its inception, right? Now, if this thing were to follow this like it has been, even if it goes to like right here, we're looking at a $345,000 Bitcoin. I definitely don't think that's about to happen this cycle, right? The law of diminishing returns is a real thing. And you know, people also talk about Bitcoin dominance and things like this. Bitcoin dominance is also becoming less dominant because you have, like, even right now, there's like thousands of meme coins being launched every single day, thousands of altcoins being launched every single day. So just off of that, you're going to have Bitcoin dominance dropping. And it's not just because people are innovating. People are just, they're like wildly speculating. And one thing that Murad said that I thought was really interesting was the meme coin craze right now, it's kind of just like the ICO boom, right? You have the venture capital model where they will place value on a company and they'll get access to tokens. They'll go through all these different rounds. And by the time that these tokens are sold to the public, they are selling at these extremely high valuations, and these VCs are coming and dumping onto the market. Whereas with these meme coins, it's almost like retail gets to be the VC in that when they're launched, all the tokens are launched at once, and whoever buys it first is who buys it first. So I'm saying all that to say, I don't know if I answered your question, Mark, but for me, I'm looking at 75K, 100K, and then after that, I'm looking at $10,000 increments in terms of where I'm going to start selling off all of my other assets, no matter where they are. But I'm going to be more aggressively putting them into yield farming pools. And the more Bitcoin's going up, the more I'm going to have my range set to the downside on like my ETH USDC pools and things like that. So I know I just said a lot there, so feel free to like ask questions.
No, you're good. I have just based on the charts, 1010 to 2024 on the 4 hour. Yeah, I have the first jump at 73,760
for Bitcoin.
Yeah, for Bitcoin. So no, you seem to be spot on with that. The 95, I have it at 95. I have it at 95,276 also. So we'll see. I don't really keep a lot of Bitcoin, but I know I'm going to be getting.
Neither do I. Mark,
I plan to have a lot of it by the end of this to reaccumulate it again in a year's so's time.
Yeah, for me, this cycle is going to be a lot. I'm really just trying to be like the Federal Reserve and just go off of the data and not come in with such strong preconceived notions. Because like last cycle, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be taking profits into ETH and Bitcoin, and we saw it drop down to, over 50%. So it's just like, man, I wish I would have just had stables, right? And bought Bitcoin when I felt like it bottomed out. So I'm really gonna be a lot more conservative this cycle, but just be doing a lot more research so that I'm not gonna be buying anything unless I'm extremely convicted. Other than if it's like some meme coin and I'm like playing with something, a super small percentage of my portfolio. So to answer your question, Mark, because you're worried about, I think you said on the last call, you said you were worried about getting out too early.
Yeah, well,
go ahead.
Q4, I think there's going to be some sort of big movement before the end of the year. That's then going to kind of, and the main reason I've got that is kind of from the Raoul Pal type of talks that I've been listening to, where he says he'll be taking a good portion of profits this year. And obviously there's a school of thought which says you're not winning until you're taking profits somewhere. So I don't know whether I'm going to hold on a bit longer than that, because obviously then it's going to be going up through next year, that assuming there's no black swan event or like recession or like you said. And those events can come at any time and ruin the party.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you need to be kind of this mentality behind consistently taking profits. And that's what I'm thinking at the moment is like, let's say Q4 is good because Bitcoin is definitely quite strong today. And that continues up beyond 70K. And then once it breaks its all-time high, it's going to be off, isn't it? And then my plan's out the window because and that's what I have to think about.
Yeah, you the best way to go is to set a plan for the best case and the worst case. The worst case is Kamala gets in and she wants to tax unrealized gains. And a lot of people don't like that. And then you also have to keep in mind that the crypto market is only $2 trillion. No matter what the sentiment is, it can be manipulated and things can change in an instant, even if everything lines up perfectly. Right. I do think if Trump gets in, it's like off to the races, like almost 100%. But we saw what happened with the last election in that, it was kind of rigged. So it's just like, I have no idea. So for me, I'm just staying put right now. I got cash on the sidelines. I'm still yield farming. And I'm going to just be looking for strong signals of confirmation, like bullish volume, you know, the breaks and the retest of strong levels like we've been talking about, and just kind of take it one day at a time, to be honest, because this is the most uncertain market conditions I think I've ever been a part of my entire career of investing.
Wow, that's a big statement.
I mean, what other I've been in crypto since 2017, and before that I was trading Forex. So I haven't been in the market as long as John has. Like, John, have you ever been a part of a more like interesting market sentiment than this is?
Oh yeah. Well, I started trading during the great financial crisis, so that was definitely a turbulent time. 2018 was another one, or was it 2018 when the Fed did their other pivot back then? So I mean I guess I've had the experience going through turbulent markets and scary markets. Right now I just, like, pretty much since March I've been kind of just foot off the pedal, farming the volatility. Not doing really much. From October through March, I was very aggressive. I was even leveraged, but yeah, I took that off on March, and then just started farming the volatility and just waiting for, watching the signs for a trend to develop. And ever since we got that capitulation in August 5th, we've been constructive on this. Actually, let me share my screen. I guess that would help. So here, you guys can see my screen, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So ever since we had that capitulation on August 5th, I think I talked about it a bit on last call, but yeah, just looking for signs of breaking this pattern of lower highs, lower lows. We got this higher low, higher high, another higher low, and now I'm just waiting to see what we do. Ideally, what would really get everybody bullish is above 70K. But so until then, if you know, people have been asking me if they should jump in now, if they should start leveraging up. I'm like, if you're not allocated or you don't have any type of exposure, or you're underexposed, it's kind of a 50-50 shot here. I'm thinking, yeah, it's really a 50-50 coin flip. It's not really about, it doesn't really matter what I think here. It's like, we either go down, retest, hold another higher low and kind of wedge out here, or we break a high, retest the breakouts, or I mean, we just break this low here, this 60K level, and then ultimately I would be watching for this August 5th low to hold. And if that breaks, then all bets are off. We got to we just need more time, let this develop again, look for new signs of a constructive trend, and then we go from there, you know. But right now it looks good. I mean, I like it. I've been yield farming. I'm allocated. I got all the exposure I need. I will wait to start levering up once we get a clear break of this consolidation to the upside. So that's all I'm waiting for. So not really doing much, and just in my experience, you shouldn't have to do something all the time. There are times where you just need to rest, take a break from the market. I check the market every day, but I don't do anything every day, right? I check, see where the market is at, what it's doing, just to keep a pulse on the market, make sure I'm still in tune. And then when I see those signs develop, and when it's time, then, you know, pedal to the metal, get really aggressive, leverage up, you know, get your piece of the pie, and then rinse, repeat. So too often, a lot of newer traders tend to try to extract something from the market all the time, and it usually leads to frustration. You got all this chop constantly getting faked out, you know, and by the time the move does come, you're so mentally exhausted, or even worse, had too many liquidations or blown out an account that you have no money to trade. So for me, I'm just looking for those odds to start stacking up, and then when it's ready to go, I go ahead and jump in. So that's pretty much it. That's my approach. And you know, yield farming is great because I could just let it work for me. It's generating yields. I'm stacking the yields. Leaving some of it in the asset, some of it in stables to hopefully buy the dip if we get more liquidations. And that's it. Yeah. So nothing too exciting, nothing groundbreaking, but you know, for me, it's not really about doing something all the time. You don't have to do anything really until your market comes around.
Yeah, we'll know once we're in a bull cycle. And one thing that I think is really, really extremely important, once you start to take profits, I think it's a good idea because, you know, we all talk about cycle trading. Like you take profits on an altcoin and then you want to, you know, buy something else because everything is just popping. Like when the bull market is on, you can close your eyes and throw a dart at a dartboard and you can hit something that goes up 100% in a day. But I think it's really, really important to, once you're taking profits, separate your bags and you have place some stables that you're not going to reinvest back into this cycle. And then you have some to where you're going to do some cycle trading with, because you never know, the floor can fall out at any second. And if you're making profits and you reinvest in it and then everything drops at one time, you just did all of that for nothing. So definitely, like, once you start to run the bag up, don't risk the whole farm again, right? Keep some on the side, put it in some stable coin pools or something, or just put it on. They get 3%, like just something, but don't reinvest everything.
Yeah, I agree. If once your market comes and it's working for you and you have your plans to take profit, you know, take some off the table for sure. And that's the great thing about yield farming. It does it for you already. So once you set your ranges to sell and hold enough to your targets, and you'll be selling on the way up. And then it just does the work for you.
Yeah. When it's moving up like that, do y'all normally raise your bottom range as the price continues to rise?
I don't. Because I already have my target set of where I'll be satisfied in the sales, you know. So if I'm moving my bottom of the range up in order to retain more of the asset, I'm just putting on more risk. You know, we get a drawdown. One drawdown will wipe out all those profits, and you know, it's depending how deep the drawdown is and how aggressive you got on tightening up, you kind of undid all that work. So it's kind of like, you know, if you're set the plan, be sure you're okay with that plan, because if you're going to be disappointed or you feel like you'll be under allocated, then maybe you need to take on more risk. You know, it's okay if you're okay taking on more risk. But if you're after the fact, if you're finding yourself feeling under allocated, which you will, especially when the bull market comes, you'll just feel like it's not enough. You'll be fully all in. You'll feel like you don't have enough in. And that's
I already feel that way talking to everybody on this call. I'm like, crap, I don't have a big enough bag.
That's well,
we always feel like that. Like that's just part of the game. Fear and greed, our emotions.
Yep.
Yeah, when you find yourself like looking for ways to deposit more capital to buy more, and the market is just on a raging bull, that's usually a good a sign to step off the pedal, you know, and take some profits, you know.
No, yeah. I was looking more like the recent dip last week, and I was like, how can I get some more in there right now to get some more right now when it's on that dip?
Yeah, so, actually, that's a great approach, man. You know, if you need to take advantage of a dip, man, for sure.
Another thing I would say is, as we're going deeper into the bull market, it would be a good idea to, like, right now. Well, okay, not right now. Before, like, a few weeks ago, month and some change ago, I was taking my rewards and I'm mostly buying altcoins. Now I'm taking my rewards and converting them into cash, because I do think there's going to be one more shakeout. Like Bitcoin, if you look at the Bitcoin chart, if you look at the weekly, it's still trending downward. Like, it's still trending downward. I think it's possible that there can be one more shakeout before the election. And if you look at the Russell 2000 going back a couple decades, every single time before there's an election, on average, it's a drop of like 20 to 25%. And, you know, obviously we don't have crypto data to go back that far, but the Russell 2000 is a good indicator of like more risky stocks. And, you know, Bitcoin and crypto is a risky asset. So there's always some kind of drop before an election. That doesn't mean it's going to be this time, but, you know, I like to, when you're trading, it's good to think in probabilities. I don't know if any of you guys read the book Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas, but it was the best financial trading mindset book that I've ever read. Because if you play the probabilities just like playing poker, that's how you win long term. So as you're going into the bull market, it'll be a good idea to just take your rewards and just keep buying stables. Just keep stacking that stable bag and start thinking about the next cycle, right? And then Chris, to answer your question, am I going to be raising my am I raising my ranges, you know, as we're going up? For certain pools, I will. So like for my Maple ETH pool, I'm going to be raising the range, right? Because for me, when I'm looking at my yield farming bag, I'm only worried about getting a yield, and I want to stay in range, especially. And as we go deeper into a bull market, my range is also going to be a lot wider to decrease my risk as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, I want to capture those large moves. But as I'm taking profits, I'm also going to be de-risking my liquidity positions as well, because it wouldn't make sense. It's kind of like me being contradicting and playing against myself. I'm taking profits on Maple, but I'm setting my range higher to go to the upside. You know what I mean? So as I'm taking profits, I'm also making my range a bit wider. So I'm also going to be dropping the downside. So if it drops here, I'm not going to be in 100% Maple. I'm still going to have some ETH, so I can, you know, not lose my whole floor.
Yeah,
it makes sense. Like it's like trying to just making sure that you're making your tokens last as long as possible. Also, like you preventing the premature sell-off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get back to that chart for Bitcoin on that weekly chart, Vince, it's a serious bull flag. I mean, it's just popping out at you if you look at it on the weekly. You see what I mean?
Here, let me pull it up real quick. 1 second.
Yeah, it was still kind of. I thought it was sticking around 66 today. It was having problems getting above that.
Yeah, no, you're right. It did finally pop out. We'll see if we get a retest. Yeah, just take it one day at a time. I think the most important level that Bitcoin needs to break, we need to test 70K as support and hold.
Yeah, ever since we had that capitulation August 5th, it's been constructive. This is what I've been ever since we made that low, and then when we made that second higher low on September 6th, I've been eyeing it a lot more closely. So I'm just before that, I'm just like, well, we're just in this downtrend, kind of sideways consolidation. So nothing going on, higher or lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower lows. But now that's changing. I'm thinking at the best, you know, we're probably around the halfway mark of this consolidation. You know, weekly timeframes are a long time. So
Yeah.
I know when we see it on a chart, it looks, oh yeah, it's only a few candles, but
that's a long time.
That's months.
Yeah.
You know, that's months, right? That's since March. So you know, expect some time to go through. there will be some pain and some times where it feels like it's all going to zero. But as long as it still stays constructive, there's nothing to worry about. And then just wait. I like to keep it simple, so.
Yeah, it's hard to sometimes it can be hard to look at the market with and not look at it how you want things to be versus how things actually are. That's like one of the hardest things to do. But yeah, if you just like totally detach and not care about the outcome and just think long term, you'll normally be able to get it right. We keep talking to each other and like, you know, challenging each other's opinions. I think we'll be good.
Yeah, not only that, you gotta have a detachment, an emotional, a sort of an emotional detachment from your money, right? As well, especially if you're invested or even heavily invested, but still managing risk. But that's tough as well. You know, it takes, I guess it takes time, and eventually you get numb to it after going through so much pain. You know, you finally, okay, you know, here we go again, and then just over and over, and then eventually, once you have that sort of approach to where like your decisions aren't influenced by your capital at stake, more so at what you see or what's being shown to you, and you like what you see, you know, why not keep the risk on? So.
Yeah, I'll be farming all the way up to the top. I mean, my goal is to walk away with a large enough bag of stables so that I can, you know, hold on to that till we hit the next low and really set up a lot larger set of farms. You know, that's my strategy I'm trying to do.
Yeah, and speaking on that, Chris, is really important to if you can get out of this bull market with a good amount of stables and a good amount of profits, we're probably going to consolidate for a long time, right? So it's almost like we get two opportunities to prepare for the next bull market. This bull market, so we can come out with some good stables, a good amount of stables. And then, like, I'm always back testing the charts, and I always look at the ETH USDC chart, and ETH stayed within a very narrow range for like a year and a half after the crypto winter. I think it was in like 2018, before Uniswap V3 was around. You could have stayed in the same range for a year and a half. We're going to have other opportunities like that. So we can just invest responsibly and get out of this market with a good enough bag. Just the amount of passive income from yield farming we'll be able to make from the consolidation will more than set us up so good for the next bull market. And then we just do it again.
Awesome. Yeah, that's what I'm planning on. You know, I've heard it said that, you know, either this cycle or the next cycle may be the best opportunities for individual investors before it all goes into you know, banks and all that type of thing. So we'll see, I guess. But right now, looking good.
You're right. Mainstream institutional adoption can only happen for the first time once. The law of diminishing returns is a real thing. So once they get in with their, you know, multi-decade time frames, it'll be harder to get life-changing gains. Like life-changing wealth with Bitcoin is already gone unless you use extremely high leverage and invest really irresponsibly, which I don't recommend. Or if you have, you know, millions of dollars, you got 10 million in Bitcoin and you double it, turn it into 20 million. But, you know, that is that opportunity still exists with altcoins, but it won't always, or it will, but it'll just be a lot harder in the future. So this
I
is
figure, you know, we would have to go to the spaces where the institutions are not. So we'd have to go to the lower caps, the meme coins, you know, all the stuff that they consider more risky.
Yep. And, you know, the crazy thing is a lot of hedge funds are actually buying meme coins now. That guy who I was telling you guys about, I'm going to drop the video in here when we get off. He bought Bonk in his fund, and I think they're managing around $100 million, which is crazy.
Well, I don't feel bad about having Mooding and Harambe and, you know, some of those other ones that I don't even know if I'm saying their name right. A little Texas accent on.
No, seriously. And he said something that was really interesting. One of his rules is if the token isn't in the top 20 and on CoinMarketCap, I'm drawing a blank. I think he said he won't have, if it's below the top 20, he won't have over 20% of the entire portfolio in it. And I thought that was a really good rule. So, yeah, it's good to have some rules and just follow them, because where you mess up is where you have your rules and then you let your emotions get in the way and then you just ape into something and you're like, oh, I should have just did what I said. So,
yeah, I did that.
We all have. We all have, but yeah, no, this we should make some good money this cycle, and it's not going to be that hard. We just got to be patient and just take it one day at a time and not try to predict what's going to happen.
Yeah, my strategy for the Sol USDC, you know, with following John, like picking a range and just like letting your money sit there, whether or not it's in range or out of range, just letting that one chunk just sit there. It's generating really good for me. I have a 20% return on that one.
Are you on Radium?
What's that?
Are you on Radium?
No, Orca.
Okay.
So I'm on the 0.04% pool for that guy, but I put in 4K 2 months ago, and today it's worth over 4K again, but I have collected rewards and let that grow and use my rewards pool, really a tighter one just to chase the price. I'm up like $850 on top of that. And my initial capital has not been at risk. I have not rearranged it. I just used that original trade idea. So I think that is really awesome that it's working. And I want to get that going on like 2 or 3 more pools and just like have it only in those 4. And then like everything else could possibly be noise for me at this point, if I'm able to establish that setup across 4 different real strong farms. Like I'm thinking of doing a smaller version of that on Sui right now. And I'm doing that also for ETH. So it's really, really cool to put a chunk in, not have to worry about rearranging it at all, and then just taking the rewards, on a periodic basis and putting them into a smaller pool that you can really farm that small pool to get your high yields.
Yeah, no, that's a good plan. I was sad when I had to rearrange my maple pool. I felt like it felt nasty. I really wanted to be in it for a whole year, but it's all good.
Yeah, well, I had to rearrange the maple pool also. So I had it tighter than yours because the volume kind of died down from what you were experiencing.
It did. But I do think it'll pick back up. So I gave it a little more space up top for it to run, because all it takes is a few days, some good news to come out, and then boom.
Yeah, I've been having the most luck with Bittenzer. Man, Tao's been ripping it up the top for a while now. So if you're not on that one over on the mainnet, check into that. I mean, it's paying really well.
I'm gonna look into that one. Oh, also, here's something that a lot of people have been talking about. A lot of people have been talking about Phantom lately. And if you look on DeFi Llama, they've been having let me pull it back up here. So they're actually about to rebrand into, they're going to be called Sonic here in the future.
Yeah.
Market cap's only like $2 billion and some change. They have a really large treasury. And all of the apps, like in the past month, you got Beethoven, 58% increase, 37% increase on Spooky Swap, 74% increase on Equalizer, 58, 57, 51, 65, 41, 45, 38, 44. So I would also say keep an eye on Phantom. Might be a good short-term trade. Yeah, keep an eye on Phantom.
Yeah, I'm also thinking an eye right now on AVAX too, with the large games they just released.
Large what?
Games off the grid.
Yeah, the off the grid game. They launched a new game off the grid, and it utilizes blockchain. And
is it pretty good? Y'all played it?
The game I haven't played, but just the just the amount of activity that's on Avalanche now because of it is like skyrocketing.
Okay, that's
So
good.
this is a really good example of of how gaming and crypto is working together.
Yeah, so like for a while, AVAX has been struggling to get back over 30, and even before that, I mean, it was down all the way down to like 1920, and then all of a sudden, with the launch of the game, it's back up into like 26, 27, 28. Actually, today it went all the way up to 29.15 or so, but I'm expecting it to come down a little bit more. But I really think with something like this, it could push it up quite a bit. You know, I'm thinking take profits, you know, right around like $45 or so, and just leave it a long-term trade on it.
Yeah, and
back in March, it was up to 60, so 45 is definitely doable.
Yeah,
have any of you guys use Pangolin then?
Use what?
Pangolin for farming on AVAX.
I haven't done anything on AVAX in a long time.
I had a horrible experience. I had a horrible period on Pangolin. Like their customer support, they made 2 farms be inaccessible. We had to work through their support, and their support was horrible to get access to our funds again.
I can't really think that you'd ever really need customer support for it, you know, for something smart contract based. What happened?
Yeah, they completely. What happened was they had the farms, and then they, without making an announcement, they moved liquidity out of that pool to another pool. So there was no liquidity left for us to withdraw, even though we held the vault token.
So it's not really a DEX then, is it? If they're doing that,
not in my eyes. I see a lot of traffic going through Pangolin when the swaps are happening through a lot of the different tools that I use, but I don't feel safe with my money being on Pangolin.
Man, I haven't heard someone mention that DEX in a while.
Yeah, I was doing some farming on Trader Joe like over a year ago or more, probably a year and a half, but the volume kind of died down, and I just kind of haven't looked back. But I'm gonna keep my eye on AVAX too, because the chart looks good and the tokenomics are really good. The FDV is 12.8 billion and the market cap is 11.7 billion. So most of the tokens are also unlocked too, which would make it easier for the price to go up. So yeah, this is good.
There's been a lot of development on AVAX. I mean, even like the state of California put some stuff on the chain on AVAX. The game just came out.
Yeah.
Also, all sorts of stuff. So I mean, not a lot of people are talking about it, but I mean, things are happening on that system. So,
and you use Trader Joe over Pangolin then now, since what happened to you?
Well, I actually use Uniswap and use the wrap version of AVAX.
Okay.
And I keep it there, and the main reason is because I don't like Trader Joe. Like the way that they do their liquidity and the bucketing system. Like when you go and open a position, they will give you like 27 NFTs when to hold your position. They give you 1 NFT per bucket for each of the different ticks, and that just doesn't make as much sense to me as how Uniswap works. And maybe I was brainwashed Uniswap before I came into anything else. I don't know. It could be the case.
Wonder who could have done that to you.
No idea.
No idea.
Yeah, it's the Trader Joe. I mean, it has potential, man. It needs work, but it's for them to allow liquidity shapes, like for those that are looking to get like advanced in their yield forming. Like, say they could really concentrate their liquidity. Say if you wanted to concentrate it in two different price ranges. Right? Like say you want to concentrate it more toward the upper end of the range and more to the lower end, and then kind of like leave the liquidity kind of shallow in the middle, or do some other stuff. You know, I haven't really messed with it lately, but yeah, that's kind of like what it's for. But yeah, the multiple NFTs, it's like, especially when you go wide in range, it's just, I've spoken to them a couple times about it. They said they were working on improvements for it to allow wider ranges, but I remember if I'm not sure if that's the case now, but you couldn't go up. You could only go a certain point. I think like maybe like 10-20% wide at one time, and then you couldn't go further than that.
It's still there. That they still have that. They still have that limitation.
I have had it in the back of my mind to revisit firing on Trader Joe. Yeah, I made a video on them like 2 years ago, and it's actually like my second most viewed video when they launched their concentrated liquidity. They have this thing called, I think it's called.
That's how I found you, man. Yeah, that's.
Oh yeah, that's true.
How I found you. Yeah,
true. They have this thing called, I think it's called Volatility Accelerator, if I remember correctly, and they have it so that once you basically get paid a premium or discounted depending on market conditions. So it's like if you have like an increase in volume, it'll increase your yield through the volatility accelerator. So it could make sense to provide liquidity like during a bull market when things are high. You might make more in the ETH USDC pool on Trader Joe because of that versus being on Uni. But I'll have to test it out to see how it actually works because, you know, it's just kind of been downhill since then.
Yeah, the thing with that is in order to incentivize the LPers with a higher fee to provide liquidity, they're going to have to charge the traders. They charge the traders a higher fee.
Which is a catch-22 because it's like, oh, you'll make more, but the traders will be like, oh, no.
Yeah, that's yeah, like maybe, you know, it'll slip by through probably most traders. They won't realize it, but eventually, especially whales, they wisen up to that stuff. And they're like, oh, you guys charging me more to make swaps? I'm going to go somewhere else, you know?
Yeah, true.
Yep.
And the yield's got to come from somewhere. You know? Yeah. Yeah, the volatility accelerator. I was like, that's interesting. You're paying more, but where does it come from? And I had to like really like dig in and figure it out. But yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, but I'm doing more just AVAX USDT, just set a range. It doesn't really matter which DEX I'm on because I'm more in it for token appreciation as long as there's at least some fees I can get from liquidity providing. So that's more the angle I'm playing rather than trying to get a high yield off the farm because I got burned because the gas on the AVAX chain is a little bit more expensive and I had it too tight. So it was eating away my profits. So I'm doing much better just setting a wider range for AVAX. I am going to set a trade up for that longer term trade to actually just spot trade. So it'd be cool. Just give it a shot.
Yeah. And also I'm hoping that, you know, we were talking about Unichain in the beginning of the video. Mark, I'm not sure if you caught the tail end of that. You too, David. So basically Uniswap is launching their own chain on the OP stack. And it's going to be cool because people will be able to go straight from Coinbase, who has hundreds of millions of users, straight to an L2, and they won't have to go on ETH. And, you know, they're within this whole super chain thesis with Base and OP. And basically they're trying to, you know, solve the liquidity fragmentation problem. And that's going to be good for users, but it's also going to be good for farmers because I don't know how everything's going to look, but it would be so cool if we can start providing liquidity on Unichain and have that liquidity go to whatever chains need it the most. Like that, we won't have to bridge. We won't have to do any of that stuff. So
yeah, that's what like Cosmos was working on. Like,
yeah,
kind of like an interchain, but I don't know. They just fell off, and I don't know what the hell.
They have a lot less parties too. A lot of Cosmos founders live like right up the street from me. The founder of Juno, and I think Stargaze, his name's Jake Hartnell. He lives a couple blocks from me. I hang out with him all the time, but he's been traveling a lot. But yeah, they kind of just fell off.
Yeah, they had. I don't know if he had any. If he was part of like Osmosis or anything, but they. I don't know. It was. I was working with a team to provide liquidity on Osmosis for a while, and it was just odd how the Osmo token was pumping. It went from like 20 cents to like 250, and then it crashed ever since. But I'm just like, yeah. After that, it just like everything just kind of like it went radio silence, and everyone, you know, people that we're working with, they're like, yeah, you know, they're kind of can't, they're just, they don't need us anymore. And that's it. You know, they disappeared. I'm like, I wonder if they were dumping some good old Osmo, you know.
Probably. I wouldn't put it past them.
Now trade now.
They have a different culture. They kind of think they're better than everyone.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, it's a different culture, man.
It's crazy how like the different chains have different cultures. Like the Near team is so cool and like down to earth, but the Cosmos guys, they're just like they're almost like the Cardano folks. Like they really think they're better than everyone. It's so weird.
They'll be back next cycle though.
Hopefully, we'll see. I don't hold any Cosmos or anything in the ecosystem. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I got several airdrops just holding Cosmos and what's the other one? Osmo. Like that Tia airdrop was pretty big.
I missed that one.
What was some other ones, man? But Dime was another one. But yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, well,
I was going to ask a question about VFAT. And about just changing. I was thinking about just moving it over to using Aperture again on Uniswap. And I was having issues also if anyone's tried to set up Aerodrome just directly through the DEX, not using one of the specialist tools.
Oh,
I still can't get it to go into position.
You're talking about on Aerodrome itself?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crap, man.
How do they get away with that shit?
Because they had so much volume, man. They
have crazy volume there. It's a great system, but I don't know how they get away with that technicality.
It's terrible, man. Even like when you try to stake, it won't even stake your whole amount. Sometimes they only stake like a chunk of it.
If you didn't know and you were going into that, you'd be like, this shit doesn't work. What's the point?
Stakes in it, like you set a range, but it sets its own range. I'm like, what the fuck? And I had to like unstake it. I just use VFAT to stake it on there, man. It's just
and they probably
I think it's worth the fee. The fee is high, but it isn't worth it.
You have a fee, yeah.
Base is the number one L2 now. They just passed Arbitrum today.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And also a cool little tip about Aperture that I meant to tell you guys about. So Chris, I think he brought this up on the last call. Like the rebalancing is like buggy to where it hasn't worked. I haven't tried it in a while, but when I went to go rebalance my Maple ETH pool, it wouldn't work. But if you want to still get the benefit of doing the math, you go on there and let's say you're gonna, change your range. You type in the range that you need to change it to, and it'll tell you before you do the transaction, you're gonna have this amount of Maple and this amount of ETH. So you don't have to do that math and get it wrong and do another swap, especially if you're on mainnet and waste fees. It'll tell you the exact amount that you need, and you can just go swap it and then enter into the pool without having to fuck up the math. So that was.
Well, I'll tell you how Aperture cost me money this week. So Aperture is not doing. They changed the code so that they don't constantly refresh the pricing. So before I do anything now, I will connect my wallet. I will hit refresh. I will focus on one farm, and then I will make that transaction happen. Then I'll hit refresh again before I start working on the next farm. And sometimes I have to hit refresh on the pricing, like after I remove some liquidity. I have to hit refresh again for the total amount invested to be updated, because they are not allowing it to do constant refreshes, and that's also caused me to lose
gouging, man. Jeez.
To what happened this week is I pulled it up and it said, "Oh, your Pendle ETH is out of range." I said, "Okay, it's out of range," and so I went down there and I refigured where my range where it needed to be, and I did the rearrange, and it worked perfectly on the screen. And then I flipped over to Crystal to verify everything happened. And then Crystal's like, "You're out of range." I was like, "No, I'm not. I just rebalanced." So I went over and took a look I hit refresh again, and it rebalanced me to where I was out of range.
Shit.
What?
Yeah.
Damn.
So Crystal's still live. So Crystal's still on it.
Crystal is still working out really well for me.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like about Crystal is you cannot have the dual trigger. Like you can have dual triggers, but only single action.
Do you use it to set up positions? No.
I do, yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, Aperture is still smoother and everything. It's just with it today doing its thing, and it's starting to take me a lot longer to use their tool than to go use Crystal or VFAT for the farms that I work through VFAT. If you do the things manual and don't turn on the automatic rebalancing, the fees aren't that bad. But their automation piece, they're proud of that, so they charge a lot for that. But I was just very upset that Aperture did that. I was like, why are you turning down the refresh rate so that we're operating on stale data within a minute of us bringing up the site? And John, I remembered a comment back some time ago. You said that every time that they ping the Oracle, they get charged.
Yeah.
So now they're charging us more fees, but then they're reducing the Oracle ping rate, so they're not spending as much money.
Well,
So now they're just making more money for themselves.
Yeah, well, after they crushed their token price from dumping on everybody, they need to find another way to make revenue.
Yep.
The price is too low for them to dump it now. There's no liquidity. Nobody wants to buy it.
Well, it's not doing anything. It was not worth anything.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Like I would go in their Discord, I would just see, like, you could tell they were like paid bots, or I mean, just in there. Hello, oh, token price looking amazing today. Oh yeah, I'm gonna buy more. I'm like, it was like constant. I was like, man, why are there so many comments? And it was just all of that shit, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, they're definitely trying to pump their price, trying to get some sheep to buy their bags.
Yeah.
Those sound like real people to me, John. Are you sure?
No.
It sounds
like crypto in general, right?
And they'd be like 50 thumbs up when it.
Yeah,
I was definitely a real person.
So anyway, so be careful just on that Aperture. Just always refresh before you do anything. It works, but you just have to make sure you constantly refresh so you're not working on old data.
That's a bit of a bummer because that was kind of your favorite, wasn't it, John? That's a bit of a when people.
I help
you as well. Yeah, you as well. But when people fuck around with stuff that doesn't need to be touched.
Yeah, when McDavid was he was the one leading the development of it. You know, me and him were working together on it, and you know, he was always looking for ideas, and you know, they built it, and then he left, and then it went to shit. You know?
Literally, I met up with him at the coffee shop right up there. We talked for like 2 hours.
Oh no shit, man! What did you say?
They implemented some of the stuff that I recommended.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, ever since he left, because they had this thing where if you made a video about them, they would pay you like a certain amount in tokens. And I had forgot about it. And I hit him up like, hey, I never got my payment. And the guy was an asshole. Like, I forgot what I was saying. I was like, yeah, you guys said you were going to pay out 500. He was like, are you crazy? And I'm like, I showed him the screenshot.
Yeah.
And he just sent it to my wallet without saying anything. I'm just like.
But it was probably not worth much.
No, he sent me 500 in current price, and I sold it immediately.
Oh yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah. So yeah, the new management is terrible, man.
Yeah,
that took me reaching out to them. Like,
well, you got lucky then, because you actually made more than anyone else probably. What is it? They did the same for me, but they had me do a lockup, and then I think every month it unlocks a small amount for up to a year or a year and a half. I can't remember.
When did you get yours though?
Like, I got mine at the launch, man.
Oh yeah, I got mine like a few months ago, way after launch. So that's
okay. Yeah. So I was like, oh shit. I was like, I got all these tokens. I'm like, but I can't, I can't sell them. So now, as it unlocks, prices just dumping, right? And then, so I'm just like, it's not even worth anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I think at the height it was worth a couple grand, few grand, and then, but yeah.
well, I know they raised a lot of money, so they probably were under a lot of pressure from VCs to make their money back.
Absolutely, man. Once they made the deal, man, they're running the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are y'all in any farms for anything for like ton?
No, but there's another good video I'm gonna send. I'm gonna just drop some good videos that I've been watching. I'm not on ton, but I'm about to hop on ton pretty soon. I think they're gonna have a big meme coin this cycle that'll be really good. The founder.
They've already got one.
What's that? What is it?
Redo.
What is it?
It's the resistance dog. So and actually they changed their logo when that guy was in jail. They changed the ton logo to the resistance dog. So I've got it. I mean, that's what my plan is to get exposure to those other chains that we do well. I buy the top rated meme coin on that chain. That's it. So it's kind of, so Redo is so let me find it. It's in doing, yeah, REDO, resistance dog. It's the top one on their Telegram as well. It's got ridiculous amounts of followers on X as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know much about the ton chain. I just know I wanted to get some because I think with how easy it could be potentially during the bull run that people to get into crypto using Telegram, I think it could do pretty well.
Yeah,
but it's incredible how it crept to position number 7, and look at its charts, insane. And that's their kind of network adoption through the use of Telegrams, pretty amazing. And people are going to come in through that route, and that's why Ton's such a powerful one. But I had to get a Ton wallet and buy Ton, send it to the wallet, and swap it for Redo. And it's quite a good wallet actually as well. Works nicely.
Is mobile wallet or is it?
No, it's like a water drop. No, that's the Sui. Sorry, it's like a diamond. Yeah, it's just downloaded a Ton wallet and then just swapped it. So I'm holding a little bit of that as well.
Interesting. Yeah, it's been proven that anytime there's a platform with millions of users and they have a chain, it does well. BNB, Coinbase. So yeah, I'm keeping my eye out on things for Ton as well. I'm be glad when I'm finished networking so I can get back to I'm peopled out right now.
Well, I'll tell you, for the last week, I've been 100% nothing but crypto taxes. So I'm taxed out right now. So yeah. like I was sitting there looking, because you have to categorize all the transactions for most of the tax software to work, right? And just the mention of Trader Joe gave me chills, because it's going to put 57 NFTs into the wallet as a transaction. You have to categorize all of those things.
That
sounds like a great time.
It's a great money maker for my company, because nobody else wants to do it. But I mean, I don't even want to do it. But if you're going to pay me to do it, then I'll do it. But
somebody got to do it.
That's right. But yeah, no, I've just been running that all week long. It's just been like 4 hours of sleep. I've just been categorizing stuff. I'm like, that's a self transfer, that's a buy, that's a sell, that's a lock and stake up, that's a stake and reward, that's a loss, and some of the tax software out there charged by the transaction, and some of them charged by a package price or whatever. But doing liquidity providing, if you're moving around your pools a lot, one of the better ones out there, I think right now, is Zen Ledger, but it is still going to charge you, if you have more than 15,000 transactions, it's going to cost you $850.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, you do get a free hour with their tech support if you want, but hey. So I didn't know, because I've used that one, CoinTracker. There's several at Coinly, but they all have shortcomings, because none of them are great at reading the blockchain. You still have to be, as a human, get on the blockchain and figure out where some of these go, and especially if some of these people are getting into ROI dApps and stuff like that. You're like, well, where did this go? And is that wallet a person, or is that wallet a DEX, or is that wallet a ROI dApp that rugged you after 3 weeks? where'd you send your money to? Because most of the time that's over a year ago and people don't remember unless it's a significant amount of money. So,
yeah.
So, but anyway, tax
So
fund.
Wild West, man.
I'm glad it's over. So, for now.
Yeah. Yeah, the best way to do it is just do it as you go along instead of letting it pile up. But who's gonna do that every day?
Yeah, nobody. Like, because you're like, oh well, I'm gonna manage my portfolio, an hour a week, but it's like an hour like actually moving your farms around, and then it's like 2 to 3 hours categorizing stuff. So really now it becomes like 4 hours of portfolio management a week, and 3 of it's not even fun. So
yeah.
You do like to hold a lot of different positions, though, Chris. Let's be honest.
Well, that's true.
Oh, you were in like 75 pools, bro.
That's what I mean. So I've got 2.
But it just depends on how often you're moving stuff around, also. Like, because when you go, I mean, just think about like how many approvals, and then you do a swap, and then you do enter, and then you do an exit, then you do claim rewards, claim rewards, claim rewards, and then and then you do a rebalance, and the rebalance has 2 or 3 transactions hidden in it. I mean, it just real simple stuff can add up to be a lot. But yeah, then you do it 75 times, and then you have a nightmare. So
That's crazy, man. Well, at least you got through it.
yeah, and I'm alive too. I mean, I'm a little wacko, but I'll be okay after the weekend.
Yeah, your beard looks a little grayer, man.
It's a little bit longer too. Like I have no problems putting beads in it now. I can beat it up, but be like a dwarf.
For Halloween, you should be Jack Sparrow.
That'd be awesome. I gotta darken it up a little bit though.
Yeah, I was thinking about keeping all mine off just for sometime in November, just to see what I look like.
No. See, it's no shave November, so you can't do it in November.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Quick question about optimism. All this positive news coming out, yet it's still kind of. Do you think that's because ETH hasn't pumped yet? Really, that its optimism is not.
No L2s have really pumped, honestly.
Like you've got the Sony have said they want to use OP as well. You've got Base, obviously, with that with their announcements. It's only seems to be good news for optimism. Yeah, it's still sitting pretty at a good buy position right now, to be honest with you.
Yep.
Did you get the airdrop this week?
No, from optimism.
From optimism, yep. So
No.
It's season 5 of their airdrop. I got over 350 OP for free.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah,
Nice.
check, man.
Yeah, if the website is app.optimism.io/airdrops with an S in the end of it /5.
Yeah, and the only thing, Mark, with Optimism, their tokenomics aren't the best. Market cap is 2.2 billion, and FTV is 7.
Oh, claimed by October 8th. Damn.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, guys. I should have said last. But we're in season 6 now.
I haven't been doing any farming, so I probably don't have any to claim anyway. But
I have.
But this wasn't even.
There's been like 4 other airdrops. I've gotten I was in season 1. I think I was in season 2 as well. I got season 2.
I got the season 1, like the first airdrop.
Yeah,
but I missed this one had a lot of things to do besides just farming. Like if you did anything on Superfest, which was really easy to do, or if you minted some NFTs, or you just did one optimism quest. Real simple things to do. So,
man, that's the thing when you're not plugged in the crypto 24/7, man. You miss this shit,
Yeah,
they should allow you to claim.
That's the risk. That's the real risk. Taking time.
So, Vince, when you say that 43% of your unlocks are untracked, that's kind of like, what the is that? But you think that these big players would obviously be going into this. So, Sony, massive corporation, anyone that's going to be using that L2 are going to be looking at that. So they must have they must have some excuse for what that is and
wait.
why it's there.
Sorry, October 8th, 2025.
Yeah.
So you got a year. Okay, I was like, man, they did this weird shit for a few days. Okay.
No, just go type in all your wallet addresses and see which ones qualify.
Absolutely.
What website do you see? I'm gonna go check too.
Yeah, the app.optimism.io/airdrops/5. Not eligible. Well, I gotta check all my wallets.
Mark, to go back to what you were saying, the tokenomics are really terrible right now. I have to check to see how often the unlocks are. I've just been holding a small bag, but I don't think Optimism will really start pumping until everything else starts pumping, because it's gonna need a lot of buying pressure for it to offset those tokenomics, I think. But the fundamentals are strong, like you said.
Are there any unlocks coming within the next year or so then?
Let me check.
Can't.
I hate that Google does this thing where every time you search, you have to click "I'm not a robot." That's so annoying.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's biased because they are a robot.
They've got it's like a linear vesting schedule that's consistently going, but they're consistently dropping more coins by the looks of it. I'm on CoinMarketCap. Shit.
Oh, I don't know why I didn't go there first. It's still many that they don't have, so I just go to like CryptoRank or something. Let me see.
Not eligible. You had to, yeah, I guess you had to do. I didn't do enough.
So you got this
net mark. Yeah, it's just getting worse and worse.
So we're here. So we've got all this to go, and this is just and this date is this is 2026 here. So this is right in the middle of next year.
Yeah,
so there's going to be a fair amount, isn't it?
Yeah. So basically, how I look at this is that we need that much buying volume just for the price to stay break even.
So from their perspective as the operator, why would they structure it this way mainly?
Well, so if you look at future airdrops,
they got to get paid.
That, and they like to have a war chest that they can use to incentivize people to actually use the chain so that things can become sticky. Because once people start using it and they like it, then people stay. So then once they run out of tokens to give away in 2026, their goal is like, okay, people are familiar with it, people got used to it, and now we'll be able to make money off of actual fees. But until then, they kind of need to subsidize their users pretty much. So yeah, that's the name of the game, unfortunately.
So the answer then is they're probably playing a longer term game. They're saying, look, this is just us getting warmed up. Beyond, we're going to be the bigger L2 network. And
I think they have
small vesting.
Yeah.
So their small vesting period is just a small, small period in time for them with their probably longer term view.
Yeah, this is definitely a long-term hold for sure, because with the companies that sign up on their chain, I mean,
that's what I mean.
It's hard to lose, but it's just those tokenomics is like it sucks for us. So that's why I have a small bag. Because there's other projects that even if they aren't as good, if the tokenomics are better, it's easier for them to fly. Like, what was the one we were just looking at? AVAX. Most of the tokens are already unlocked. So once the market starts pumping, even though AVAX is number 13 and Optimism is number 47, I still think AVAX will pump harder just because of the tokenomics. So, yep, you got to pay attention to those tokenomics, man. And that also means it'll fall harder too, because when you have a lot of VCs invested into a project, they have a fiduciary responsibility to generate returns for their LPs. So they're trying to get out as soon as their vesting schedules and their cliffs are over. And this one is linear, so they're probably just selling as often as they can. So, yep.
All right, guys. You guys got any questions? I gotta get off. I gotta. Wow, hour.
Yeah, I need to go eat.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys got any questions on like any yield farming, DeFi? You know what you're doing? Looking for any suggestions or anything?
I have a question. When you're trying to add more capital to your yield farm, do you have to add both types of crypto, or can you add one and just exchange it within the yield farm?
You can
you can do that. Like if you wanted to,
yeah, for example, if I got $1,000 in Maple and I want to just add it to my Maple ETH, just send in all the Maple, which I'm not going to do. I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah.
And then just exchange it within the yield farm so it'll even itself out.
Oh yeah. There's actually Aperture Finance.
Right. That's what I use. Yeah.
As the Zap-in feature. Yeah.
Okay.
To do that.
Okay.
Yeah. That'd be the best way to do it. Yeah.
Crystal can do that too.
Oh yeah, Crystal does it too. But look for
the Zap, David. That's what that is. You just zap it right in without having to sell it.
Watch, compare the different apps, see which one you get a better rate on, because sometimes you'll get some slippage from because they'll swap it themselves and then deposit it into your pool.
No.
All right, guys. Well.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess the favorite strategy that you have, I think we touched on it earlier. I just want to recap, make sure I understood. So let's just say we're like a true life example right now. We're farming BNB USDT, right? And we have a range of 550 to 590. But then the price of BNB is shooting up past that 590. And we pretty much find ourselves either at the range or very close, very just outside the range. What would you do in that example? Because we're not anywhere near the top of the market yet, but we sold through it, moving up to the top, and 600's kind of been like its local highs for a while in this cycle. Would you wait for the price to come back down, or would you kind of do just shift your chunk of USDT to be right under the current price of BNB so that you get some more BNB, so then you could rearrange it again without specifically buying it? What would you do in that situation?
And what was the range, and what price did you stake it at?
So we had 550 to 590. And when we originally entered the pool, we purchased at 565.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just share my screen. Let's get it over here. All right, I just pulled it up. All right, 550 to 590. Mm-hmm. All right, so you staked it around here, 565.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're pretty much almost at a range here, right?
Yep.
So when just kind of going back to like when you initially stake it, it's more so not looking at, oh, okay, let me see if I could get more yield out of this. But in your case, it's actually kind of like an exception, right? Because you're trying to generate the yields, trying to generate I guess you're trying to get around a certain target, right?
Yep. Trying to hit a target for everybody for every month.
Yeah. So okay. So like in this case, then you're almost at a range, and you're like, okay, well, you're thinking you want to position, I'm assuming, in case this breaks out to the upside for the bull run, right?
Right. Well, just
And you don't want to be
right now. The current momentum has it going out the top. So let's just assume, for this example, we think it's going to continue going out the top. Okay.
I would set up a range to where I don't have to buy too much of the asset, right? Just in case price does go into the drawdown.
Mm-hmm.
And say if you're okay, well, if price goes up, maybe I want to set up a range like 640, 650. That way you could ride some of that appreciation. But if it rolls over, you might want to have a range down to like probably closer to 500. And that way it could give you, that way you're not buying too much on the way down, but you'll have enough to ride some of that momentum of price appreciation. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, because I mean the problem is, like, if we're at 590 and we're going to purchase a lot of BNB at that 590 price to move it up to the 640. But then the market goes the other direction.
Let's do
we bought a whole lot of expensive BNB.
Little simulation here.
You're on the pro plan, right?
Yeah. Hopefully I can log in and all that. Oh, I guess I do.
Sign into WAP.
Yeah, you have to sign in with this.
Yeah, on this particular, well, on the one that I'm in, I'm on the one on PancakeSwap, but I found if I have a range wider than like $40, then I don't hit my income target for yield farming.
Oh, hold on.
I have that whole additional constraint.
Log in here. All right. You gotta approve all this, and like it was already approved. All right, there we go. Okay, we're in. So I haven't farmed on BNB, and it's just against USDC or USDT.
USDT.
Yeah.
It should be the first one.
Oh, this one. Oh, there it is. Yeah. ESC. Huh. I didn't know they called it that.
Well, this is the only place that I've seen it referred to that way. So.
Yeah, it's kind of odd. And 0.05?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, let's just say you had like 10K in there.
Mm-hmm.
And we staked it at 565.
Yep.
590 was the top. What was the lower range again?
550.
Okay. I like to come here. And current price is 583. So at 583, kind of up a little bit. Let's see by token. Okay, total value 581 will be 10,125. So we're kind of like in this scenario here. So this is kind of like our scenario right now.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, okay, I want to rebalance without taking on too much risk, but also being a part of it if the shit wants to break out, right?
Yep.
So this is what I would do. I would take, I look at this, I like to go here and then I just kind of take a screenshot of this. Say, okay, this is kind of like the ratio I want to stay at or be close to after the rebalance. So a 22%, 22.22% of BNB. So hopefully I don't buy too much. So let's see, let's go out to 650. Definitely have to come down here. All right, so that's 22%. Yeah, so we're gonna have to come back. Let's go lower, actually over here, I believe. Oh, 500 actually. There we go. Okay. So maybe You see how it kind of starts going down, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But here, like, you don't have to go exactly 22%. Say if you're like, well, I wouldn't mind buying to where I increase my position size from 22% to say 40%, right? So then you could kind of finesse it here.
Yeah, that's
like 43%, right? Right.
That'd be if you were like really bullish. You know, you had a strong conviction that it was going to go up.
Yeah, if you think this is too bullish, right? What would be an allocation? Like right now you're at 22% BNB in the LP. Do you want to increase the exposure by much, or maybe?
No, I mean, I would probably do exactly what you did right here and go up to at least 40% BNB, because usually when it goes up between 6 and 615, it'll fall right back down.
Okay.
So I want a healthy chunk of USDT cushion at the bottom, you know.
And this is a 14% APR at the current liquidity distribution. And then what are we at right now? Just going back to the original 585. This is 100%. Are you seeing 100% APR right now?
I am actually.
Yeah. So that's a big hit on the APR.
Mm-hmm.
So you could kind of finesse this, right? Like, okay, well, I don't want to go that wide. So maybe we could go like 530 and then kind of eke this out a little bit. 640.
Yeah, we might have to do more frequent rebalances, right? And just move up like 15% instead of going all the way up to 640 or 650.
Yeah. It's a huge drop off. Yeah, you know, maybe as price, but this sometimes the liquidity distribution on metrics doesn't really give, sometimes doesn't give accurate APR. So, you know, it depends. But this is not that much wider than where you are now. So even like 620, maybe 5, 6, or sorry, it's like 530, right? And that gets you a 40% BNB, right, at 530 to 620, 23% APR, which is a big, you know, you're down like a fifth or a quarter.
Yeah, it's okay. It's like I do this methodology just until it finds a new range, and then I tighten it back up.
Exactly. You know? Yes, yeah. You got it. Yeah, I was gonna say that next. Like, this isn't like a permanent thing, right? You wait until you get a good idea where it's gonna start ranging again.
Yeah, no, this is one you can plan, and you can throw that one into your rebalance tool. If it's aperture, if whatever. But like whenever that trigger's hit, then it blows up for you. You're still in range earning something, but you didn't just spend a buttload of fees trying to get it rearranged.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not only earning some yield, but also you get that appreciation in the asset too.
Yep, because you're still in it, and you're really preserving your BNB for the future. So, okay, it's good. We're on the same wavelength. So nice. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I have a quick question before we log off.
Yeah,
I'm looking to get some exposure to Solana. Which can anyone recommend decks or any top tools? Just to
I like Radium, man.
Yeah,
Radium.
Yeah, there's Orca as well, but it kind of clunky. But and also I think it charges a fee, if I'm not mistaken.
Orca charges rent, and it's refundable.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, when you close your position, you get the rent back.
So. So Radium with Solana, yeah, and then people just still doing render then.
Like Radium, like I'm in Radium right now, but are you looking for like a Solana stable coin? Because that's
just to get used to the ecosystem, really, just to have a play, really.
Yeah. So like here on like the Solana token, it kind of the yields kind of, or the amount of volume kind of rotates. Not only between like USDT and USDC, but also the fee tiers. As you can see today, 157% on the Sol USDT, 0.1%, which this one here, number 2, was kind of king for a while, the 0.2% for USDC. So it kind of rotates around, and if I see a significant jump, I will just migrate my LP over to the other one. But if it's if it's too much of a hassle, it's not really a big worry, anyways. I mean, you're still getting 95% here, you know. But yes,
Yeah, I would like to point out that I'm actually more of a fan of Orca. I think it's easier to use, but I may be in a minority. But the #1 Sol pool over on Orca did 122 or 121 million in volume today.
Oh wow, yeah. Or that is one thing. Orca does have more volume than Radium, so I guess it's more of a preference. If you like it, then it's okay. But where is it? Am I here or?
Yeah, so at the Sol USDC 0.04%, they did 121.4 million today, and their TVL's only 18.3.
Oh yeah. Here, so they changed up the look a bit. I remember it was a lot different. It had like big those big icons.
Yeah, yeah. They have a classic view if you want to get back into that, but I don't like using the classic view. They made it a whole lot easier. Like if you click on that pool real quick, John, the Sol USDC one right there, and then to the right, the entry comes up. You might like that a little bit better now that they've changed that.
Oh yeah, you can do a custom. Nice.
It's pretty slick, and then they have auto swap down there for you. So on there to deposit amount,
direct.
Yeah, you can say you can auto swap it. It'll trade first, and then it'll put you in position.
Cool.
Oh, that's cool.
So you don't need to use another third-party tool with it or anything like that. Really?
No, you don't have to at all.
Oh, so this will like rebalance it for you to get staked.
Right. So like if you only came in with USDC as an example, and you turn on auto swap, then you can type in the amount of USDC you want, and then it'll go ahead and convert it to the right percentages.
Oh yeah, then this is way different, man. I might migrate over here then. That's pretty good. Okay.
So I really like using this one, and you can change your slippage at the bottom. A lot of times for fast moving pools or high volume days, you'll have to change your slippage.
Oh, yeah.
And then I found a trick is to always hit the refresh button, which is next to the trade slippage button, to have a better success rate.
Oh, there you go.
And then the other thing that's helped during high volume times is don't use your max on your token counts. Like for instance, on that one, like don't do 13.16. I would do like 13 and give it some breathing room, and then that'll allow the position to be made. You can always easily add stuff once the position's made. But
yeah, because it might fluctuate in price, right?
Yep. Yeah, so those are some tips to make it work a little bit easier.
Oh yeah, so these are the fees I was looking at. So this you get back after you close it out, huh?
Hover over where it says fees, the link on the left where it says fees. There you go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, rent.
So it breaks it out for you.
I see. Okay. Oh, okay. So you get like half of it back.
Yeah, okay. you get a good chunk back.
Okay, I see. Nice. I learned something new today, man.
So I really do enjoy this one right here. A lot better than Radium. So
that'll be good for us to, like I said, for me to have a go with this, and we'll catch up about this on the next call because this looks quite good.
Sweet. Yeah, I have just to let you know, like when you're in a pool, you click on portfolio. It'll show you all your positions. And like for me right now, I have mine up. I have 3 different positions of Sol USDC with all 3 different ranges. And I have a range that's earning a 0.726% per day. I have another one that's a 0.388, and then my largest one, which is a 0.174. So it's really easy to do multi-ranged pools right under each other, and you can observe what's going on.
Mm-hmm. You know, although I'm looking at this TVL, the Radium TVL is a lot lower, and you're getting about half. Like say here on Sol USDC, you got half the volume, but you have at least a quarter of the TVL. So
yeah, can you divide the volume by the liquidity, and I'll do that one on this one over here.
Let's see.
I might have said that wrong. Yeah, volume by liquidity. I got a ratio of 6.66.
The devil's ratio.
Oh wait, I might have did that wrong. Yeah, that's how I usually do it.
Wow, that's a lot of numbers. I just did 2 numbers.
Oh, yeah, I was just checking. Okay, so oh yeah, volume by liquidity. Sorry, is it yeah, volume divided by liquidity or the other way?
Yeah, you got it in volume divided by liquidity.
So 12.89.
Yeah. Well, actually, you have a higher ratio over there.
Yeah.
Although Orca has about
this
4
one.
times the fees.
This one up here, the USDT. Usually the USDT doesn't print as well. Just today, this is one of those one-off. I wouldn't. Usually the USDC LPs are better.
Yeah,
Or more consistent.
Well, plus that top one's only a 0.01%. The other one's a 0.02.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. This one's 0.04, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was 0.04, which is why it's been printing for me for a long time.
And no one uses Jupiter, which is the other.
I use Jupiter I love using Jupiter to do some swaps.
Yeah, for swaps. Yeah, swapping, DCAing into like illiquid shit coins. That's great too, man. Oh wait, that's the wrong. What's that?
Yeah, on Jupiter, it's really cool to set up just a routine DCA strategy and let it run.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely use it for my shitcoin trading, man. It's the best.
Ah.
I love the
And is
DCA.
there going to be liquidity to exit those certain coins?
I mean,
you're getting out before the shit hits the fan.
Yeah, I like to accumulate. Like, what is it? I was accumulating. Was it? Oh, here I got this up. It was it Hammy or no? Loaf Cat. Let me see. I got it over here somewhere.
That's not real. Okay, it's a meme coin. It's got to be real. Yeah.
Yeah, Loaf Cat. I was accumulating. I bought some down here actually, but I wanted to buy like, a couple grand worth, and the liquidity is just was low at the time, but now it has some okay volume now, and it probably could get in and out pretty good. But back then it was like I would buy it, and the slippage was like 5-10%. So I'm like, okay, let me DCA into this. So I went here, I set it up to where I wanted to buy like $1,000 worth. Like, I'll just kind of model it out here so you can see. Like, I'll get.
So how does that work? Does the smart contract just kind of take bits from your wallet when it's got a position? How does that work?
Say like I'll get the address here, and then you put the amount that you want to buy. So say like $1,000. You're like, okay, I want to buy a total of $1,000 worth, and I want you to buy like once every hour over.
That's
like
awesome.
10 orders, and they'll do $100 an order every hour, and until you get filled. So over the next 10 hours, they'll fill.
Nice.
And usually it's pretty good, especially if the market's not volatile. It's only good if the market's not very volatile. That way you're getting like at least the same pricing, so.
That's really cool. I think that'd be good to catch up on a bit of Solana stuff next, because it's not a chain that I particularly use, but
I just hopped on Solana this week.
It can't be ignored this cycle, I don't think.
Really?
Yeah,
that's been one of.
I got a nice bag of Solana, man.
I've been far. This has been printing bread and butter for the community.
The thing is, the thing is, you can't be into everything. And I'm on base and I'm on Ethereum, and I don't, if I put my attention to many different places, in the past in my life, it hasn't always worked out well. But
I hear you.
I'm seeing it a lot more.
Like, what is it? Solana. On Solana, I deposited I think like 45K into Solana, and I generated just in yield. at least 30K, maybe 35K in yield throughout like different liquidity pools, but mainly in Solana USDC. And then in comparison, I've had an average of 100 to 150K on base and Arbitrum farming ETH USDC, and I've only generated about, but like 42K, I believe, since March. So I've generated a better return or more yield on Solana than I have. But
people are on the network, aren't they?
That Solana is more volatile too, so there is more risk of that volatility. So it comes at a price. So if you can handle and stomach the volatility, then yeah, Solana is more your play. But if it's like, man, like, when we saw it, what was it in August when it went from 190, 195 down to 109?
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of volatility you got to stomach. Ethereum had a drop, but it wasn't that significant. So.
Yeah, and then Sui's even more volatile at the moment. But I'm in a really good Sui pool over actually on Aerodrome. It's printing about 1% a day.
Yeah, speaking of Aerodrome, man, like I've been farming some pools, like more like meme coin pools on Aerodrome, and I've been just stacking it since March, and then now with this run in Aerodrome, it's like tripled in price since my average price, and not tripled, but more than doubled, and that yield now is some nice yield. So.
Which one was that you were talking about?
Just getting paid in Aero, like
okay.
the Aero tokens on Aerodrome,
Yep.
I just been saving the Aero. I just been stacking that to the side, and now it's looking good. I think Aerodrome's gonna have a run, man, like a good run. So I've been kind of bullish. I've been like secretly bullish. I bought a nice chunk a couple months ago around the low ones. And then just to start it off, and then I just been farming, my meme coins and ETH USDC on it at times, and just stacking the Aerodrome on top of it, just waiting.
Yeah, it's been tough to kind of stomach that it dropped all the way down to like 30 cents for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Like people were jumping ship, and the community actually got toxic in their.
Oh, they did. I tend not to go. Yeah, I tend not to like jump into those communities, especially like on a dump incentive token. But as I like kind of learned more about Aerodrome and just kind of saw the narrative, and I was like, this when the bull comes, it's a good. So I was like, it's a good bet. So I just started stacking it.
But you did make a good point, John, which is that it is a liquidity token. It's a fee token, so it's going to always have that sell pressure for people who don't want it.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, that's the big risk, right?
But
But
it has additional functionality, and it's mainly for protocols. You get a bunch of that Aero, and then you stake it, and it's a VE Aero now, and it's locked for 4 years. And you have to have that VE Aero token staked in order to actually get trading fees. You're not getting trading fees on that place unless you stake that. Otherwise, you're only getting the incentives.
Yep, they got pretty creative with the way they structured it. I like it. It's a way to trap people into the token. Trap people in there, alleviate that sell pressure. Price floats up. I'm happy.
It's a great system for protocols to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because if you offer high incentives, it doesn't matter what your tokens are, or even if there's a purpose behind them. If you have high incentives, people are going to come invest. You're going to get the trading fees because you've locked up your VE Aero, and they're going to give you bonuses for hosting your own project on their decks. So now larger protocols, like Clima or Overnight Finance or something like that, it's self-funding those large incentives at this point. They're not putting in any more of the project money, and they're actually printing money like 100K, 200K a week, allowing those to continue to run in that manner, even though Overnight just had a huge dump from over 40 down to 17. But we won't talk about that right now.
Not only that, but when on Aerodrome, right? Like say during this day on August 5th, when the Japanese carry trade drama played out here. I had both pools. I had an Aerodrome ETH USDC pool, and that was staked, and then I had a Uniswap ETH USDC LP, and the Uniswap one was seeing over like 3,000% APRs, but the one on Aerodrome I was seeing about 200%, and I'm like, oh, okay, so they'll pay you out, you know, they'll boost up the yields a little bit, but you know that difference, they're also, you know, they're earning that difference, you know, and it's like, I'm like, man, like, and plus they have more volume than Uniswap, so I'm like, I could just only imagine what the yields were really like on Aerodrome that day.
Yeah, they can only change those incentives every Wednesday. That's the day they flip the epics. So like those are the days that the incentives change. So
oh yeah,
you could go in on Monday going, oh well, this pool's at 215% APR, and then on Wednesday it drops down to like 175, right? And then the next week it could change on you again. And that's if you don't have any Arrow staked. But staking Arrow is a deep pocket whale game. Like you can't do it as a regular small investor. So
no, yeah. If you really want to benefit, yeah, very interesting, man. It's like there's an interesting kind of shift in the market, which I think is good. This competition from Aerodrome is good for Uniswap. Yeah, as you can see now, Uniswap is on his feet now. They haven't done shit in a couple years now. They're
like, shit, let me launch an L2.
Time to let's start shipping, man. Let's build, you know.
Yeah. The other one that's comparable to Arrow is the Cetus token over in the Sui blockchain. So you can farm Sui, which is, you know, for gas, and then you farm Cetus, which is the DEX token, which is also the rewards token. So it's the exact same setup that they have. So
nice. That's good,
but
man.
They're really early over there, so it'd be a great time to jump on that. I mean,
which one was that, Chris?
Cetus, CETUS. It's one of their largest X's.
But it's down today too.
Yep. But you just farm Cetus Sui. For the longest time, they've been paying out over 1% a day with a decent range, and then you can either stack the Cetus or sell it like a lot of people do.
Guys, I'm gonna have to go and get ready for work. It's 7 a.m. here.
Yeah.
So I will be seeing you. But this is a good conversation at the end here. I'd like to chat a bit more about Solana and Sui and whatnot, and that's cool.
Definitely
awesome.
Have a great.
It's 1 a.m. It's 1 a.m. for me. Good night for me.
Yeah, it's 11. I'm about to go eat some dinner. Great talk, guys. See
you later.
Drop those videos in the chat. Definitely give them a watch. And yeah, we'll be all talking again soon. Hopefully I have some good stuff after going to this hackathon.
Awesome.
Nice.
Thanks. Love to talk.
Always.
Cheers.
Yeah. See you guys.
Bye.
Take care.